Hello and welcome to Please Don't Send Me into Outer Space, the podcast intent on exploring all that science fiction and fantasy has to offer one movie at a time. My name is Joel.
My name is Sarah.
My name is Necron99. I mean Aaron.
The movie this week is Wizards from 1977, directed by Ralph Bakshi, written by Ralph Bakshi, starring Bob Holt, Jesse Wells, Richard Romanus, David Proval, and Steve Gravers, with a very, very small appearance from Mark Hamill.
Thanks, Mark.
I like that on Amazon it's like featuring Mark Hamill. Like, yeah. I mean,
He's
that's
way down in the credits.
yeah. It's definitely a like. If he had been more famous that time, he could have been like and Mark Hamill, you know, where
Yeah.
they put and.
So, like, as far as, like, the release of Star Wars, like, what's our time frame on that compared to Wizards?
I'm wondering when he must have recorded his small voice part, because I mean they're both released in '77.
Oh, the same year as Star Wars, though, right?
Yeah. So, and I don't know how long the filmmaking of Star Wars took. When compared to like the effects shots that Lucas and his company had to do, and then all the animation time it would have taken for Ralph Bakshi and his company to do theirs. So who even knows? But I don't think they were promoting Wizards as featuring Mark Hamill even when the movie came out.
No, fair enough.
Right.
Well, he just played a small fairy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They even misspell his name in the credits.
Dang.
It's Hamill with a single L.
Oh.
So, this is Joel, and I picked this movie, but not because I am a big old Wizards head. We do have a member of this team that is big old Wizards heads. And I'll give you a clue. You get three guesses who it is. It's not Sarah.
Dang it.
It's not Joel, and it's not Pascal.
Oh, hey, guys.
That's right. It's Thomas.
It's the cat.
Aaron, you have a story.
I do? Oh, okay. One of my friends, for my birthday, he gave me 2 DVDs. One of them is Logan's Run. The other one is Wizards. This is because at one point I too had gotten some random sci-fi movie DVDs, and I would gone over to his house and we watched them. So he just was like, "Yeah, I know you're into this kind of stuff, so here you go." And I'd never seen either of them. Like, I knew my parents had a past with Logan's Run. That was a movie that they used to, back in the early 70s, they used to wear costumes, but obviously the culture now is cosplay. But they used to go to big parking garages and run around and do, I don't know, Logan's Run stuff.
Scare drivers.
Yeah. No,
Nice.
my dad apparently had like a Sandman costume and stuff.
Cool.
So. Anyways, that's a different movie.
Wait, what do you mean a Sandman costume?
Have you ever seen Logan's Run?
Yeah, I watched
Sandman.
it with you.
You know, the idea that the security officers are called Sandmen.
Oh, I didn't know they were called Sandmen. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was like,
It's okay.
He was dressed like Neil Gaiman's character?
Before Neil Gaiman.
Or the guy with the
created it.
gas mask? I don't...
No, he didn't play Dream.
Okay.
No, he was a security officer.
He was more of a Daniel, I see.
Yeah.
Have we done Logan's Run for the podcast? Sorry, this is a tangent.
I don't think we have.
No, we did that for our lives.
We
We haven't done it
watched
for the
it.
podcast. I got a nice sweet Blu-ray copy over there.
Oh,
just ready to
tight.
go whenever.
Well, we're gonna have
I
to
knew
watch
that was
that.
one of your favorites because we watched it for like your birthday one time.
Yeah. Oh, I love Logan's Run. Yeah, it's a great movie.
By the way,
We'll
this
watch
is your birthday present for next year. So
Oh, thank you.
Don't expect any
Thank you.
present or anything.
No, Joel, thank you for picking this movie. Wizards, I feel, is a huge influence in my life, and I'm very thankful for my friend Jeff for giving me that DVD. The art in this movie is such a trip.
Yeah.
It is a trip.
It is.
I'm just going to put this out there as far as Bakshi films are concerned. This might be the only one that I've actually seen of his work. I've seen clips of I've seen clips of Lord of the Rings, and I've seen clips of Cool World and the very controversial Coonskin. Is that what it's called?
Coonskin, yeah.
Coonskin.
That's the Spencer from High and Low, who's been on this podcast a couple of times. That's one of. I don't know if it's a favorite movie of his, but it's one he champions pretty often. I can't say that I'm like a huge Bakshi head, but this movie in particular, I flippin' love. I love the concept of it's both science fiction and fantasy at the same time. Like this whole idea that technology and magic are these two forces butting heads against each other. I love it. It's so much fun, and they got some pretty amazing 70s artists to do illustrations for this movie. Mike Plug being one of them. I cannot recall the name. I was going to look it up right now. The name of the background artist for the animation, but he did some Lord of the Rings illustration books that my aunt lent me. And I remember loving just all the different scenery that he illustrated. Very fine pen background work, and I just love
amazing.
It. I love it. The very experimental usage of smoke over these simplistic animated visuals just blew my mind away when I saw this. And definitely, I have to say it's a major influence in the way that I illustrate things.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that. I can see that there's a similarity between some of the ways you gesture things when you draw them, or some of their expressions, or, and I'm not saying it's just like it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, I can see where they could be connected distantly in some way. And, yeah, your artwork's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
So definitely your goblin work looks very, very similar to some of the goblins in this movie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What I'm saying is, you're a ripoff. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Even if that's the truth, I don't mind saying that I ripped off Bakshi. That's all right.
Well, yeah, it sounds like if you ripped off anyone, it sounds like you ripped off Plug, right?
Oh, yeah, more than anyone. More than likely, Plug. Though, Bakshi took a lot of inspiration from another artist of the era for his animation style in this film. Von Baudet is the name of the artist. He did an independent comic book called Junk Waffle, and he was one of the big comics with an X movement in San Francisco and whatnot. He had this tiny wizard character called Cheech Wizard, who's basically just legs and a wizard hat on an orb body kind of a thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you look at it, it's very one of the characters in this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously with more limbs and green with a beard and stuff.
Yeah.
But the stylistically, it's very.
That's
you can
cool.
see that Bakshi had taken a lot of inspiration from Baudet. And then of course there's also the half naked ladies in this film that.
Yeah.
That Baudet also liked to draw very similar body shape for women, and that's definitely our lead lady in this film. Definitely takes some inspiration from that too.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We may as well bite the bullet on that right out the bag, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm rambling at this point, but
no, it's cool. This is a movie that I think Joel picked because he knew that you may have some things to share about it.
Right, also, and I felt like it was an interesting thing to talk about since when the first time you showed it to me, we got about 20 minutes in, and I was like, we can't watch this anymore.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. I remember, the thing is, before showing, because the ill-fated day that I showed this to Campo and Joel, I think it either been the week before or maybe 2 weeks before, I had a board game hangout with a bunch of buds, and I'd thrown this on in the background, and I was getting some pretty fun reactions from it. They were just like, because they'd be playing the board game, not paying attention to the TV, and they'd look up and just be like, "Dude, Aaron, the hell is that?"
What's happening here?
And
yeah.
And in the halcyon days before Please Don't Send Me to Outer Space, back when I would hang out with Joel, before we sat in front of microphones and talked about movies,
When
we would
both
actually
lived in Filtros.
Yeah, we would both talk about movies still. So
And get together and watch them.
Yeah. So I figured that we would have a nice hangout sesh and watch that, and it was disastrous.
I mean, when you think about it, that's kind of like the original, the like origin story of this podcast, because it's like I was into movies.
Yeah.
And I knew you knew a bunch of weird like movies and fantasy titles and like had all these connections. And obviously you're a super fun guy to like have a conversation with. So it's like, okay, I think we got a thing here. Sorry, kid. Hold on. I got a kitten on my lap who just wants to jump on a computer.
She's real cute, guys.
Baby girl.
She's a smooth, cute operator.
Yeah, she's not as yappy as the other ones. So I don't know if you'll hear her on the podcast, at least not for a while.
She's a silent beauty.
But eventually she'll be up there. Yeah. So, I mean, like, and I'm thinking back to that day, sitting like, because I think we were at your parents' house.
We
right?
were at my parents' house, yeah.
Yeah. And I was not prepared to just jump into a movie the way I am now. Like, if anything, this, as Sarah has stated before, this podcast has kind of worn us all down to it's like, oh, I don't know what we're getting into, but we're watching this.
Yeah.
I can count the number of times on one hand where we've been like, 20 minutes into a movie that we didn't know what it was, and we're like, okay, we need to turn this off because it's not going to be able to do anything.
For one reason or another, it's just too difficult, but most of the time we get through it.
Yeah.
They go along. But I was under the impression that I was not going to like the animation in the movie because I don't like the way the Hobbit looks. Like, specifically, I think that's...
Are we talking the Racklin boss?
Yeah.
Hobbit?
That. And so I was thinking that was Bakshi, and it's not, right?
Yeah, no, that is the same animation team that did Thundercats.
Okay. Well, you think I would like it then? No, I don't know. But
well, if it's not for you, it's not for you, dude. Don't stress.
No, I didn't have any problem with the animation in this one. Except I just really cannot stand the way he draws women. Like,
yeah,
it's
very, I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. It's just right out exploitive, you know? Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's sexist. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, this interpretation of like, this woman's gotta have large breasts and she's always gotta have hard nipples. So that's women, right?
Yeah.
Right, guys? Right?
I definitely don't advocate it if that means anything to you.
Yeah, I've never noticed hard nipples on any of the goblins.
Thank you. I'm glad you noticed that wasn't present.
Yeah, there's something kind of nostalgic about the way that women are represented in this. It's like, there was a moment in time in the 70s where it's past the free love movement, but there's this like raunchy comedy of like the National Lampoon and stuff, and it honestly reminded me some of like dirty comic strips that I saw, probably far too young than I should have been to see, but the kind of things that they would throw into like a Playboy or something, like, and not the story itself and the art, the concepts and everything are amazing, but specifically the girl I found to be kind of a caricature bimbo.
Yeah.
That is just there to kind of be an object and to be something for kind of a male fantasy, maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know how this story came together or anything. But,
well, I mean, there's no denying lines where one of our main characters, Avatar, she's pleading with him to like save the realm, right? And he's just sitting in bed and he's like, why don't you just sit right there, right in that pose there for a while, and I'll think about it. And it's obviously, the camera goes back to her, and it's just like her boobs are just like, the only thing in frame. And it's just like, okay.
Right. Yeah.
You can't deny
moment, I was confused, and I thought that he was her father character.
Yeah.
Her father character had just been killed, it turns out. But at the moment that happened, I was like, ugh. I mean, it's gross anyway, but it was like, wow. We just watched Cat People. Joel and I just watched the 80s.
Yeah, I've seen Cat People before. I could see your concern almost immediately if that's the father.
No.
Based on that sentence alone.
Yeah.
It was good because Sarah kept going, are they brother and sister? And I kept going, I don't know. But I knew. I knew the answer.
Oh.
We could do Cat People sometime too. The other
Sure,
one.
yeah.
Actually, that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Isn't there a magical car involved in that as well?
I don't remember. I just
Doesn't he,
What are you talking about?
Okay, no, never mind. I might be thinking of a different movie
You're
then.
thinking of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
No.
Which also has a brother and sister and sister.
Oh, oh no.
Don't be gross.
Oh, you broke me, Joel.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, having said all that, I don't have an issue with like nudity or scantily clad women and things. I just think that sometimes it gets a little tired when it's like all the women are only like basically supporting characters for the men or whatever.
I totally agree with you. And I think that is definitely a flaw in this movie, for sure. But, there's so many other arguments you can make that it's a piece of the time.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know if you've ever read any Bukowski, but I thought of Bukowski. The book Women that he wrote, it's pretty crazy, raunchy, and kind of, just sexist and kind of, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know who out there would care, but yeah, it's definite. I got the impression that the older man wizard in this movie had kind of a Bukowski vibe towards this young, whatever she's supposed to be.
He's definitely supposed to be like a hippie-ish, like, yeah, whatever, man. Let's just lay back and have sex. We don't have to do this wizarding stuff. Oh, they keep wanting to push me to go fight my evil brother or whatever.
Yeah.
That wizard just wanted to get stoned and, fool around or whatever.
Smoke stogies with his toes.
Yeah.
But
like, hey, Mr. President, get out of here. I gotta fool around with your daughter.
Having said all that, I think that it's pretty cool. I think that it's pretty awesome.
There are some visuals in here that I think are just quite magical. And something that you just don't see anywhere else. Like,
yeah, totally.
Pretty amazing stuff.
And ahead of its time too. I think, before heavy metal, before like anything else that has like a mature themed animated movie. I mean, I don't know if there's anime from this time period that would be similar, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be some that's for a mature audience, but I've never seen it. And I'm not saying I don't think it exists, but this specific story seems very unique to me.
I just wouldn't know, yeah. I wouldn't even know what to compare it to. I mean, I feel like he'd already done Fritz the Cat before this. So, yeah. And I'm sure there were, like I said, like you were saying, like the Crumb era stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like you look at the way Crumb draws women and and stuff like that. That's obviously would be an influence on him. But I do, I dig this movie not as like an animated movie in the way that I would dig a Disney movie, with a full fleshed out story and a consistency of animation throughout. I dig this as like a collage, with the still just drawings with the voiceover going on and the funky music, right?
Well, as I recall, your first viewing of this movie, we couldn't even make it past the exposition in the beginning of the film.
We at least got to Hitler.
Oh, did we at least get to Hitler?
Yes.
Is that when we turned it off?
That's when I drew the
line?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's some pretty brutal imagery that they just kind of throw right at you.
I mean, it comes out of nowhere. Like they are the whole beginning of the story is like the world has been destroyed for war. We don't know what time period that happened, but they had
it's a little iffy as far as the time frame. Like they said, maybe like 2 million years after we blew up the planet, and then there was another 3,000 years of peace is mentioned.
They threw some math at us in the beginning, and I was like, wait a minute though. Because there was a 3,000 years, and then there was 3,000 years later.
Yeah. And then
5 years ago.
No,
yeah.
4 or 5,000 years.
Yeah, and then somebody was suddenly studying magic for 5,000 years, and you're like, now wait a minute.
Wait. Yeah.
But you only existed maybe 3,000 years ago.
I was like, maybe I don't understand, but
no, I think that was a hiccup.
We need to write down a clear timeline, actually write it down for ourselves.
This is when they started practicing the magic, and it was before they even rallied together in that way.
Before he was born, he was doing magic. So the whole reasoning behind what was it? Black Wolf? Is that what his name is?
There were two wizards.
Right, I know. Avatar.
One of them's Avatar.
Uh-huh.
This is the good wizard.
The Last Airbender.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Uh-huh.
And then we have Blood Wolf.
Blood Wolf. Right.
Who apparently grew with skeleton arms.
Yep, he's got the boniest arms. And that's a birth defect. The poor guy. It's not his fault.
Yeah. Well, right off the bat, the dude didn't have a chance. First time you see both of them, it's like here's Avatar. Here's Avatar, baby. He's the good one.
Yeah,
he's positive polarity.
Queen of the Fairies was immaculately conception. I don't even know how to say that as an action. Anyways, she suddenly gives birth to children that she didn't appear to be pregnant with beforehand. And
in a daze, too. Like, she's just kind of like, nope, going up to my house, got to give birth.
She got struck by lightning directly in the womb. And she gave birth to
two god babies.
Like, they knew right away these were wizards. These were special babies.
That's right.
One of them
Look at their faces. They're wizards.
And was a positive, attracting energy. And the other one was a piece of...
Like,
just look at that ugly baby on you.
Didn't have a chance. Didn't have a chance. Like, nobody, like, think of it. I mean, maybe he was crafted to be evil because people were like, no, you got negative energy, man.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling it from that baby. That baby's good. That baby, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, was there no choice in this matter? Like, you're just a bad baby.
Oh, yeah, then that good baby's all doing magic tricks for mom to entertain her, and the other baby's hurting animals. Like, well, okay, he's a serial killer. Okay.
Was she just bedridden for life after that?
Because I got the feeling...
It looked like they were entertaining her while she laid down and rested.
She was pretty much pictured in bed ever since their birth.
Like sapped her energy or something.
Yeah.
Those illustrations are awesome.
I'm a big fan of Plug. He's a real cool dude.
They're awesome. And it's like the style of them and everything. They got a lot of mileage out of the drawings and they didn't overuse them, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there was enough there and depth that it made it look cool to stay on them.
The camera panning that they also did on it, I think was really fun to view that.
Yeah.
And there was even some like very limited Plug animation too, like a couple scenes where they had a blood wolf drawing and they'd made the eyes move a little bit, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I feel like a lot of it was done like on a gray or some sort of tannish paper, and then they had used like some like white pastels or something to get some cool effects. Like when their mother passed away, though it is a very painful moment in the movie, it's beautiful seeing how her hair was kind of like falling on the bed
down. Yeah. I think so too.
Do you guys have like a favorite character from this movie?
Hitler. No,
Hitler played by himself.
It's not. No, yeah, I don't. Yeah, but he is uncredited on IMDb as playing himself. So, if you.
Thank you, IMDb.
I was looking through IMDb because I wanted to see who the narrator was, because she's not.
I saw
it doesn't seem like she's a voice actress.
No, she definitely has a very monotone voice. I was kind of half jokingly saying, like, as we were watching the movie, I was like, somebody just handed her a joint, she puffed on it, and then was like, here's a script. And she just read it like...
This is gonna sound terrible, but her style of reading the narration reminded me kind of Joanna Newsom's in Inherent Vice. The narration she does.
I've never seen that.
She's got an excuse because she's like trying to hold back her accent, right? Because that actress is... Wait, which one's Joanna Newsom?
She's a harp musician, and she sings, and she was a small character in the movie Inherent Vice.
She's not the one doing the voiceover, is she?
Yeah.
I thought it was the actress from Alien Covenant.
No, she was the love interest, right? And the crazy, like, disappearance and stuff.
The
narrator in this seems like she might be... Yeah, we don't know who she is, but she's seen it all and knows about it.
Campo just sent me a very provocative image of Eddie Brock as Venom that he drew just now.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if I want to hurt your eye.
Oh, that's kind of like...
she's into it right now, guys.
What is that video game where the witch like uses her hair to fight? You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta.
Yeah, that's kind of that.
Yeah, she's shipping the Eddie Brock Venom.
Hey, we got to put that on the website
right
now, so that's fine. That's good.
She's shipping it, guys.
So in this movie, they do a lot of things where they like superimpose images of like actual like footage of people riding on horseback, or like I don't know if they're drawing it or they're just like using the background image or rotoscoping it or whatever, and then like drawing images like horns over it to make it look more
fantasy-esque. Right. Yeah, there's some of that going on for sure.
Yeah, I mean, did it look like rotoscoping to you, or did it just look like footage?
It looked like rotoscoping. Like they took the footage and then they were kind of editing it, as you mentioned. I remember there being like a lot of like neon color, like circles for eyes and a giant like red orb for a mouth, kind of a thing going on there. And as you'd mentioned, some like definite horns, like drawn, being thrown in there. I haven't seen it, so I can't really speak for it. But from my understanding, Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings also has some of this rotoscoping stuff going on for the orcs and stuff like that, of that nature.
They're supposed to be like the people, but they're interesting.
And neither of you guys have seen Cool World?
I've seen clips of it. I've had it explained to me. I've watched a couple YouTube videos about it, and I just didn't really have a desire. I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, I had a real big desire to see it.
Yeah.
That's another movie I watched about 20 minutes of, and I was like, I gotta turn this off.
I watched Cool World several times, not that long after it came out, and I kind of liked it when I was a kid. I mean, I haven't seen it in years, and I imagine there's maybe some stuff I take issue with now, but back then, I remember finding it entertaining. I don't know who it was made for specifically, but...
It was made for Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, let's be honest here. I think Ralph Bakshi makes films for himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Based on his interests or,
Just like Paul Thomas Anderson. Anyway.
He makes good ones, at least. Things that I want to watch.
No, I have an interest in watching the Lord of the Rings. I just haven't sat down and done it yet. I might even watch some of his other stuff, like, as you mentioned, Cool World and whatnot. I don't know if I'm ever going to watch the cat one, though, Fritz the Cat.
I don't want to see cartoon animals being sexual ever. It's
not for me, but I'm not going to judge it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure people like it, but it's just not for me.
I don't like to see cartoon humans being sexual, so animals definitely not. Like anthropomorphized or what? There's that stupid extreme version of Spawn in the 90s.
Oh, I never saw that.
Well,
my mom would always turn off HBO or whenever it would come on, so
well, I'll let you know.
I missed out.
In the HBO section on Amazon, it's listed under late night.
Oh.
Sarah, do you want to watch some late night Spawn?
You're saying it's a sexual Spawn?
In the very first episode, it's like there's some big fat like mob boss guy, and he's just got two women that are like topless and doing things with each other. I'm like, I guess this is what I'm watching now because I'm a radical 90s dude.
Did you ever watch the Max cartoon?
No, actually, I didn't watch any of that. Like, I never watched the Max. I didn't watch Aeon Flux. I didn't watch any of that stuff on MTV.
Campo has had the Max on tapes. I watched some of that. It's real good. It's actually really good. Aeon Flux gave me nightmares as a kid. One of my babysitters was watching it, and I was like shell shocked from it, like completely.
I was really into that too. I was really into Cool World for a little while, and I was really into Aeon Flux. But I think it was just like that. I found it fascinating because it was so different from every kind of animation or drawing that I'd seen before.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't think I really would like it that much now, but I think that it was just kind of revolutionary for me at the time. That there were different ways you could draw people or eyes or whatever. Like, it was a totally different style.
Yeah, that whatever the animation team was, they were doing like an Alexander the Great anime or cartoon or whatever it was that I was like super into, but I don't think they ever finished it, or I just didn't get to see the whole thing. It was like on Toonami or something like, not Toonami, whatever the late night version of that was.
I had that one on VHS, actually.
Which one? The Alexander the Great one?
Yeah, I don't think it was called that, but that was pretty much the premise.
Yeah. I mean, the character was Alexander the Great. I don't know
yeah.
I don't remember what the name was, but I dug that animation. What's the name of the guy who does the Max?
That'd be Sam Keith.
Sam Keith. He's another person who has a women drawing issue.
Well, I also agree with you that no, actually, I see where you're coming from here.
Yes.
But I actually think that the lady in the Max is actually more empowering, in my opinion, than or is more empowered than presented here in Wizards.
That's like, I just mean like in general as like a drawing. If you saw a picture of his interpretation of women commonly, or like in his comic, which is like My Inner Bimbo or something.
Yeah,
he gets into that
book
stuff. So he's aware of his way of dealing with the women. That yeah.
All I'll say is that the lady in the Max, that she actually is like the most powerful character in the story.
I see.
Far preceding any other character. So actually, yes, I will definitely agree that it is definitely exploitive, but I feel that as you mentioned, that he's aware of that and had made, even from the beginning, apparently that had been the whole purpose, but of it was that she was the most powerful character. But he definitely has a very there's a body type that he's really into. That's for sure.
Okay.
And he draws ladies like to that type.
Everybody has a body type they're into. I just,
Do you ever hear that?
My Inner Bimbo, though, I've never read that, so I can't really speak for that particular book.
Well, I have a copy. I'll lend it.
I was gonna say, do you ever get people? This is kind of related since we're talking about the animation in this movie and the style that women were portrayed in. But have you ever, like, since you've worked with comics for a while, like, have you ever had people say anything to you about it being offensive or something, or that, like...
Oh, I've had the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
I've had people that feel it's empowering, the exploitive nature of ladies in comics. I've had people, explain to me that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I think just how we interpret art, like in general, there are just some people that would love this painting you have, up in your house, Sarah, and then some that would be so upset.
Right.
Like it's the same way with comics too. Like what I find to be amazing, someone else might not, And I the same way with how ladies are portrayed in the books themselves too. Now I feel though that a lot of people in the industry right now are trying really hard to take steps away from the exploitive the exploitive way that ladies are portrayed in comics.
Some people are.
Well,
yeah.
Let's not get into it.
But there are those that are upset about it.
I guess I haven't really thought about it before, that it may be upsetting to some people. I remember telling somebody once that I was really into graphic novels for a while, and I was collecting them, and they were like, graphic? Like that was a bad word.
Yeah, because graphic means that things are shown. I guess. I don't know.
No, but the word graphic you use for like graphic design, like it's graphic.
Right, but if you could refer to a TV show as having graphic content, and they mean like violence or sexual things of sexual nature.
Oh, that darn English language and the multiple meaning behind words.
Yeah.
It's
Every
irritating.
time I was using a piece of graph paper, I was like, ooh.
No, it's happened to me at work too, Sarah, where I've had people come in and be like, graphic novels? Are these okay for my son?
No, they are not. So this movie, Wizards, eh?
Yeah. Well, I think all this talk about comics and whatnot is actually really important, because I feel that was one of Bakshi's major influences for this film, is definitely comic art. I don't think Wizards would exist without it, to be honest with you.
Is the artist that did the concept art the one that does the fairies book that I've seen? There's like a book of illustrated fairies from like the 70s, I think.
Oh,
maybe.
I'm unaware of that book. I'll have to check that one out.
What do you think of the story, Sarah?
Okay, straight up. I thought there was a lot of cool ideas going on, both in the making of the visuals of this movie and of the story. And I think there were a lot of different ideas going on at once. And, maybe one illustrator had a concept and another illustrator was animating that concept. I'm not sure. And then maybe there was one person who was writing how this was going to go, and there was another person voicing how it was going to go. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the dialogue got changed, but it seems to me that it's an entertaining movie to watch, but the story for me had a couple of spots that were, like, a little bit difficult to follow. And breaking it down to the Nazis, it basically, after they tell us the history of this world and that, the good wizard is going to have to fight the bad wizard, which I think the art of both of those wizards is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then the girl who's coming along and the elf that he brings with him, I think that part's all cool. I do kind of like the idea of the projector, though.
Yeah.
The projector is a theme that's almost like it's in the story and it's also part of the story. It's like it's, let me see what I'm trying to say. It's a part of the movie, but it also makes you feel like visually there's another dimension to the movie as a viewer, because they do stuff like rotoscoping and showing like real video of things and stuff. But I feel like there's so many ideas that could be explored like in so many different ways that's kind of inspiring and cool. I do think there's a little bit of a difficult to follow part of it, but I don't know. I think it's definitely entertaining.
I feel like to explain what's going on, the bad guy, Bloodwolf, digs up the past after technology's been outlawed and banned for millennia, and he brings up a bunch of World War II stuff, and he finds that anytime he's tried to attack the Avatar side of thing, which is the fairies that aren't mutated and the dwarves that aren't mutated, and it's like all these mutants, apparently the mutants are bad automatically, that they've gotten to the point where the fight starts, but then everyone will just like go back home rather than continue fighting. And so Bad hasn't had the momentum. So he uses Nazi propaganda, like swastikas in this movie. And there's a part where there's like an animal corpse hanging from a ceiling that's being eaten, and it turns around and it's got Star David on it. So, like, he's even bringing, although they never name check Jews or Jewish people in the movie, that obviously that's a symbol that he was using as like part of the propaganda thing. And then actual video footage of Hitler and, what Nazis marching and stuff like that. And I guess what we're supposed to get from that is that, like, this was finally inspiring enough to his army to push them to attack, along with the new mechanical weapons that they had. They have tanks and bomber jets and actual explosions.
He was having problems rallying his troops. They had collected all this technology, but his generals were still kind of like iffy about combat.
I don't know about that.
But it wasn't until they saw that Nazi footage and everyone organized, marching, to their one extreme leader, that they too wanted to apparently copy that.
It's so weird. It's
imitated or something.
I know he's trying to go for, direct symbolism, direct allegory, and it just doesn't work that way, because it's not. At some point, they just kind of drop this whole Nazi thing, and it just becomes about technology versus magic, right? And good versus.
We go back to the basis of that, yeah.
And when he's like they are, like Sarah said, they're literally using a movie projector to put images into the sky so that the enemies are like so perplexed that they can be destroyed.
Well, I think that's powerful imagery, because first of all, they've never experienced anything like that. They've never seen anything projected, I would say. Though the world of magic, I'm sure, has imagery and things like that. I could only imagine seeing something projected, blasted across the sky.
I get it. It's just that
mass hallucinatory sort of image.
It's not Hitler image at that point. It's like War Machine image.
Yeah.
So it just drops it at some point.
Yeah.
And that's not a part of the story anymore. And they after that point, I feel like they do kind of craft a fun adventure, your favorite. You were asking a long time ago. I think it's like been 30 minutes since you asked who our favorite characters were.
I was interested if there were any of these characters that you found interesting.
I like the little Gelfling guy, whatever his. Do you know what that character's name was?
I have no idea.
Guy with a sword. Who's overly
little elf guy,
and at one point calls a woman a slut because he thinks he would betray.
That freaking line is out of nowhere.
It's not good.
It's not good.
That I kind of saw it coming in the subtext of what was happening.
Sure,
but he just, and I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going on in the movie. But she randomly jumps into this tank of the enemy in her, like, nighty or whatever.
After killing somebody,
and, yeah. And then when they see her, he, instead of saying traitor, instead of saying villain, instead of saying I hate you, he says slut.
It's just like,
And
what?
it's like, whoa.
Like, wait, did she sleep with somebody that you're aware
my
of?
gosh.
Or, like, does that even matter?
Yeah.
Slut is such a loaded word. It is so crazy. There's no such thing. But that is totally something that back in the day women would get called for no reason. Like, and
It's like if
And this is a prime example of that
Yeah.
too.
it's like
Traitor would have been a much more appropriate word, or betrayer,
if you
right?
if somebody ran into your car and you got out and you're like slut, like wait, what?
it is out of nowhere,
This
but
isn't-
it's like
Someone did run into my car today.
Exactly.
I should have called them.
the first thing that ran through my head was because of how she's dressed. Because, like, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, he was cool with her when she was dressed like that when she was with them. But when she jumped in the tank of the enemy, she was then a slut because she was dressed like that? I don't know.
I don't even think so.
The
there's
context
no
is incorrect.
Rationalization of it.
Like if he had called her even a bitch,
yeah.
it would have been a more context appropriate insult.
Yeah, even though that's another bad insult.
Yeah, oh,
It's
definitely. Like,
But I have to say, this line is just out of nowhere. Like, despite the betrayal or
Captain America being like slut,
Slut.
and then punching the Red Skull.
no, you're not gonna experience that ever. You know, it's like,
No, guys, she's not a slut. She was brainwashed.
Oh yeah, and don't
you
don't
were
even worry.
brainwashed by the bad guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I called you a slut.
Yeah, he doesn't.
See, and that would have been so amazing if we had that line.
He doesn't apologize. He just goes, "Hey, Avatar. Turns out she wasn't a slut after." No, he doesn't say that.
Oh boy.
I need to wash my mouth out.
My favorite character is Necron 99, hands down.
Who's that, Aaron?
Oh, he's the dude in the red suit who just kind of fumbles around. Like, he's animated, just kind of like awkwardly moving around and like rides a 2-footed beast.
Mhm.
But I like his buds too. Like at the beginning of the movie when Blood Wolf has all three of the mercs go out.
I think he must kill those guys, right?
Yeah, they gone because of your favorite character.
Mark Hamill introducing himself right before he gets shot part.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey guys, I'm your friend Mark.
Oh, what'd you think of that creature that was attacking the elf too? Kind of came out of nowhere. The holographic eyes.
Oh, like the spider thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That scene was like really interesting because he's like, I don't know how he ended up in that like chamber.
Sure.
Like he like touched something and like ended up in some place that was just full of like colored smoke and swinging his sword at nothing.
They'd infiltrated Blood Wolf's castle at this point, right?
Oh, no.
Or was this out in the woods?
That was when the fairies kidnapped the girl after their leader got shot.
Okay.
He like ran off to try to find her and he ended up like in some sort of weird pit. Or not even a pit. I don't even know what it was. But
yeah.
Like, if we tried to explain, like, individual scenes of this movie, it would be incredibly difficult.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard to understand if you're, I'm like thinking about the part where the Nazis have like the prostitutes and stuff, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to describe through, like, my voice.
This was not meant for human speech.
But I did make a joke and say, is this gonna be like Night Porter all of a sudden?
Yeah, the fairies dancing on a table and then, like, I don't know, somebody's like, boo, or whatever, and she has to, like, lower one strap. Like, okay.
Oh, yeah, that part, yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
I like the idea of magic being so complex that it could just be, it is essentially their technology at this point. I like some of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's cool in it. There's like, a lot of ideas, and I think like the symbolism of like the bad guy being the wolf, and like maybe the innocents being like like lambs or sheep or something.
Yeah.
I like that too, and I think there's like a Wizard of Oz type thing too, with like the magic of the movie that he's playing for them. That's like an illusion that he's controlling them with. I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, there are seriously a lot of directions it could have gone in. And you were talking about the person who did the background art too.
Yeah, I wish I knew that artist. I can't recall.
That's amazing.
Oh,
that
yeah.
artwork is amazing.
The line work's so intricate and beautiful. And it's like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
There it is. 3 seconds later, something else. And it's like, wow, okay. Like, it must have taken weeks to get all those lines, you know, like, all worked out and everything, just so that, like, Necron 99 could just, like, awkwardly shamble across the screen.
You know what? I loved that. I loved that they had the action moving through some of those scenes and some of the parts. It was like cell animation over that background that had been drawn, and it looked really awesome. And I thought that was cool.
So yeah, there's definitely some pros and cons to this movie, but I think overall my experience is pretty positive.
Yeah,
like I definitely feel pretty influenced by the art. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, the lot of the sexism behind here is a drag, like a major drag for sure. And even after a while, like, kind of seeing this continual Nazi footage is just kind of like,
whoa.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
I mean, it is,
but it's supposed to meet those war themes, right? Like,
it's like a 10-minute chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not like the whole movie. This movie's only an hour and 20 minutes long, but so that is a good chunk. 10 minutes is, but it really, like, at some point you just kind of forget it was even a thing.
That's true. That's true.
You kind of like, I kind of like that the wizard that's good is the underdog, and he's like this little guy who is kind of just seems harmless.
Oh, totally.
And that is cool. I do like that.
That's Bob Holt doing a Columbo impression. I looked it up, and that's why he was hired, because he could do a good Columbo impression.
I love Columbo. I seriously love Columbo so much. I have like the entire series, and it's dorky, but I love Columbo.
During the next Summer of Love, can we watch your favorite Columbo episode?
Dude, yeah.
That'd be way fun.
I'm sorry, guys. I have some evil plans for the next Summer of Love.
Oh.
But maybe we could do a special...
You could watch it.
A Columbo special.
I would love to do a Columbo special.
Me too.
For the Patreon exclusive Columbo episodes. Ooh.
Oh, down. I'm down. Maybe we could pick like different episodes from different TV shows we like.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That'd be crazy. Just imagine.
I'd like to watch some Hercules with you guys.
The problem with Necron
is
that, first of all...
What's your problem with my favorite character?
He gets his name changed to Peace.
Well, I mean, think about it though. Like, his name was changed to Peace because... Avatar wanted to, you know, have a very heavily handed alteration in his character. I have a feeling the Necron 99 is like a robot, right? I got that feeling.
It looks like a robot.
Because he was getting. I believe he was being reprogrammed by Avatar.
Yeah, when he
was fighting this
quote
influence
unquote dies, his like signal goes back to the castle, and then. When he actually dies in the movie, he just kind of deflates, which I think is funny. Well, he's like, I think it's like supposed to be like a golem.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah.
There's some Tolkien influence, and it seems like maybe there's some Watchmen influence too. Or you would know more what comic books it may reference.
Well, I was checking Mike Plug's artistic history here on Wikipedia real quick, and it mentions that he actually did do work on the Lord of the Rings film for Bakshi as well.
Oh, okay.
There's a team member.
Yeah, so
I'd be interested in watching that. Maybe we should look into that. Not for the podcast, just for
He was also
ourselves.
production designer on the Michael Jackson Moonwalker, by the way.
Dang.
Mike Plug.
That's
No.
cool. I could see Michael Jackson just being like, I want the best person, and I think this is the best person.
Also, Plug most notably did artwork for the Ghostbusters film and John Carpenter's The Thing.
Nice.
So a lot of the little like upside down head creatures crawling everywhere.
I gotta see
Mike
this
Plug.
stuff.
Yeah, it's real sweet.
I
It's
wonder
real
if
sweet.
there's a
Cool.
book for The Thing. You know how they make like big production
yeah.
books?
John Carpenter's The Thing book would be so
That would be
bomb.com.
amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
Listeners, write in today if you want The Thing. No, what are we gonna do? Never mind, listeners. Don't listen to me.
Just send Joel a copy.
Oh, please
When
send
are-
me a copy.
When are we gonna watch more sci-fi movies with scantily clad men in them?
Yeah.
You mean like Desert Warrior 2?
I think there's a lot of scantily clad women
Like
in.
Zardoz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Only the sexiest scantily
Yeah.
clad men. Sean Connery, Lou Ferrigno.
It's in my head right now. I'm just thinking about all that Sean Connery on the screen.
Falling down the hillside.
Yep.
I'm kinda-
Just struggling.
Have there been other movies? I guess in
The science fiction genre
The Sword and
has
the Sorcerer had
the science fiction genre has some pretty exploitive experimental male clothing. We should probably make some type of list.
I'll hang in there, yeah. I just think
I'll think through my database, Sarah, and come up with one for you.
I'm not saying we need more male nudity. I'm just saying it would be equal if we had some.
Terminator.
I was
That's
just
true.
thinking it would be
Terminator,
really. Recently, I've been thinking it would be really funny to do a 90s or 80s style action movie where instead of like a situation where a woman's breast would be revealed, because it always happened like randomly in 80s movies,
Yeah.
just a guy's dick. There's like 4 or 5 scenes with different guys just with their dicks out.
Oh my
Like
god!
runs out of the bathroom with
No,
his penis.
Warren.
Ah!
Oh!
Like in Die Hard or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, man.
That needs to happen. I'm kind of disappointed that no one's done that yet. That'd be like that's like the way to like balance the scales, so to speak. You know.
Yeah, I mean I feel like people have like an equality policy now. Like, let's lean back the other way. Like, it doesn't have to be. I'm not looking for equality. I think you guys owe a lot.
Yeah. No.
There's
Totally.
there's a huge tab here. Not audience. Do not. Okay, never mind.
Can you make a male nudity science fiction film for Joel?
So Wizards,
mail us in at
Joel wants to see.
So you know what movie Wizards reminded me the most of?
what's that, Joel?
Kroll.
Orale.
Because, they go on a journey. I mean, that's kind of Lord of the Ringsy type thing. where
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they
stuff
got
like
that
that.
going on.
But
The quest. We
Yeah.
must do the quest.
they, when they defeat the evil guy at the end, the whole thing crashes to the ground. And then they're like at a new, like, beautiful land. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that'll be your kingdom now. Like, only the sheriff can do that or whatever. And Avatar's like, I may be 8,000 years old, but I'm still going to sleep with this young lady. You're like, oh, I'm going to ride my horse away now. My fire
Did
horse.
you get the impression that other guy liked her or something?
I got
That's
the
what he
feeling.
was saying at the end.
I got the feeling
Yeah.
the young elf liked her.
At the
Yeah.
end, he was like, would you like to be my queen? And Avatar's like, whoa, buddy. I called dibs.
Yikes.
But
Yeah.
but they also indicated that he's going to die in the next 1,000 years. So maybe, who knows how long they live.
It's true.
What'd you guys think of Blood Wolf's girlfriend? That was some dark
That
stuff.
was gnarly.
How oppressive. Terrible. Is it going to be born a mutant? I better kill it then.
Not
The
kill
next
it.
one won't be.
Yeah. That girl, no, she seemed to be the sense in the relationship. We didn't get much of her, just that she bears the children.
Yes, childbearer. And it didn't seem like
Even
she
in the
was
last line where she was in the scene where after someone's called slut,
Yeah.
she shows up real quick to say, "Thank goodness my baby's alive," and then she runs away. Like, it's literally her whole entire character.
Gets on her Harley Davidson and flies off to the moon.
Yeah.
See, okay. Here's a way to improve the movie.
Okay.
Take it up a notch in the weirdness.
Okay.
Take it full Billy Ocean music video.
Okay.
Not just
Loverboy.
Like,
how we doing this?
it's like, I don't even know. Like, mix in. They could probably do that for, like, if there was going to be a part 2 where like technology
Wizards 2
has started to like mix in with the Magical Society, and people are like doing. Like they are literally on Harley Davidsons. And,
oh man!
Get out of my-
I think the way that they could truly have peace is if they get a little more lax on that technology ban, that ban on technology, right? And then that'd be great. See the elves driving on Harley Davidsons and whatnot. Yeah,
I mean, he had a good point. Like if they hadn't had any war because they hadn't had technology in the peaceful area of the land, if it's working.
Right.
And of course, the escalation of technology is what destroyed the planet in the first place. So
this is true, which is why they banned it to begin with.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel.
Get into my car.
Get into my car.
Oh, thank you guys for watching this movie with me.
Hey, the best part about this movie is how it inspired you. I think that's the best part.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, I think it must have been a creative influence for a lot of people.
I could only imagine, yeah.
And I think, there's a lot of stuff from back then that has some issues, but I really thought that the art was interesting and, like I said, unique, which is probably the highest praise I have for anything, is for it to be unique. Definitely not just like other stuff you see. If you've seen Cool World or if you've seen this Lord of the Rings, it's probably kind of like that. But yeah, interesting combo of technology and magic. And there was almost kind of like a steampunky thing in some places. Yeah. But I liked it. I thought that it was really cool. And the colors and the, like I said, like moving across like a still background. In animation, they really often don't make that look so seamless. It's like they'll either have the background moving with that person or it was just really.
I think I really enjoy a lot of the experimental aspects of this film.
Yeah.
Like just Bakshi wasn't afraid to just throw like a piece of holographic paper in, like
as a shield.
A shield for an orc that's running by. Or like the eyeballs of like a creature, and it needs to be celebrated. Just the idea that, hey, this looks different. I haven't seen this before. Let's just do it, they're really, at least mainstream wise, there isn't much like that out there right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique item. It's like one that I would want to watch and then discuss with people the way that we discussed. I think it's a great conversation piece. I'd love to like take a class on it or something like that. Just talk about the different aspects, animation style, still animation, and the music influences and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of layers to it.
Do you remember that animated movie that we were watching that was like done over like many years? That had like a kind of 70s feel to it.
You talking about The Cobbler and the Thief?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, that was an animated film that never was finished. I think they kind of shoddily put something together.
There is like a full 2-hour version that they did like animation stills to fill in the empty parts of the story, like whatever the director originally.
The cobbled version of The Cobbler and the Thief?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, that's a great movie too.
You're a cobble.
It kind of reminded me of that, and that one, that it was like a massive, like, they put a lot of work into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And DuckTales, Treasure of the Lost Lamp also.
Shablooey!
Oh. Aaron, you so crazy. So let's wrap this guy up. I'm going to read the outro stuff. You guys think of a lesson that you learned from Wizards. Not The Wizard. Oh, I hope people aren't going to be disappointed when we talk about Fred Savage. And who's that lady that's now like a song writer that you guys like? That played the girl in that movie? Sarah?
Jenny Lewis.
I haven't seen the movie.
Jenny Lewis.
Jenny Lewis.
Oh, cool.
You haven't seen The Wizard?
Neither have I.
Yeah, dude. Is this another pick you're going to make so we have to watch it?
No, it's not a science fiction or fantasy movie. It's the movie that introduced Super Mario Brothers 3 to the world. It's the Nintendo movie. It's the real Nintendo movie.
I mean, Super Mario Brothers 3 was like a commercial on TV that I saw, like, before the Super Mario Brothers TV show.
Aaron, before we even knew it was going to happen, there was a movie called The Wizard.
Wow.
And they debuted it at a game tournament in that movie, and everyone was like, ah!
It's amazing.
And by everyone, I mean, me and
Joel.
the other children.
Joel in the basement staring at the TV.
I feel like I saw this in the theater. I could just be making up
that
that
memory. You
memory.
were surrounded by a whole tournament of your whole...
Come on, Ninja Turtles, we're having a tournament. Yeah. So, listener, if you want to suggest or comment on this episode or any other episode, write in today at pleasedon'tpodcast@gmail.com or message us on Facebook, facebook.com/PDSMiOS. Links to everything is in the show notes of every episode, except for the episodes I forgot to put the show notes in. Anyways, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or any of that stuff where you can, please leave a star or written rating. Thank you in advance for that. Check out the other podcasts on eartrumpetaudio.com. That is the podcast network we're a part of. Lots of good stuff. Going strong is the podcast to Grayskull. I've mentioned them a whole bunch of times. I know. It's just one of my personal favorites because I just really dig. You could sit down and watch Masters of the Universe again. You could, but there's something just so entertaining about the way the hosts of that show talk about the details of the characters and the story developments, because as they're watching them and in show release order, like, you do see the development of each of the characters, and it's kind of crazy. It's like it's a kids TV show, but they did actually put some thought into like how these characters were like changing as storylines continued. Anyways, that stuff's all available. eartrumpetaudio.com. Wizards. No, just Wizard. No, Wizards? The multiple Wizards. There's two. What's a better name for this movie?
Don't be a
Hitler.
Don't be a hater. Yeah, don't be Hitler. That's it.
It's the day magic defeated Hitler. Now,
a better title might be Fairies and Elves Against Technology.
Yeah,
that's just the buzz on the poster. That's like the whatever.
Anti-technology, positive magic, positive magic, negative technology vibes.
Magic, yes. Technology, no.
There, boom, we got it. Got the title. Magic, yes. Technology, no. A movie about morals.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, do you have a lesson that you learned from Wizards? I'm glad we workshopped that.
Yeah, no, that was a good moment.
My lesson for Wizards is make sure you have a skill, because they said that the only reason that they brought her along was because she could sing. I think there may have been another reason, but it's good to have a skill that you will be valued for besides just looking nice.
I mean, wasn't she like a magical creature, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
no, but I'm just saying, like she could provide magic, right?
She could have, but Avatar was too worried that she was going to get hurt, so he didn't even want her to know that she had full magic abilities of a fairy. And she had a sword. She was using that stuff.
I mean, that's kind of my lesson here is, like, why not utilize that? Like, if you're going to war, right? Like you got to use everything you got.
Yeah, tell your friends that they have magical powers.
Yeah, keep your friends fully informed, you know? It's important that they know what level spells they have.
Don't betray your friends because they'll call you a slut.
Yeah.
Randomly.
I learned that if you jump in an enemy tank, you're still not a slut, okay?
So these are good lessons.
I learned that if you're a bad guy and you get captured,
oh no,
that your name can now be Peace and you could be a good guy.
That's something that can happen.
You could change your name to Peace. Or it'll be forced on you. I don't know.
And just think of all those people in prison who get released and they're all called Peace now. It's been working. The system works, folks. My lesson is a very practical lesson, which is that if you ever meet twins, you can always figure out which one's the evil one because of their skeleton arms. So don't be afraid to look, because you don't want to get stuck hanging out with the wrong twin.
Please check your infants for skeleton arms.
I have another one.
They have negative energy.
In 6,000 years in the future past, when these guys are around, we won't have to worry about being cold very often. Only every once in a great, great while will you be cold enough to need a cape.
Yeah. Most of the time, you're just going to wear something that shows off everything to begin with.
How were we supposed to know she was a woman unless we saw everything, Aaron?
I don't know.
We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
EarTrumpetAudio.com.
Ideas and entertainment.
Loud and clear.